All right, guys, really fun finish down there in Atlanta. All the talk heading into this seemed like it's about CJ Stroud, and don't get me wrong, he played great, but for a guy under a ton of pressure, I thought this was the best game in Desmond Ridder's career, leads the Falcons downfield for the win. What does it say about his resilience to put a performance like this in after the game he had last week in London?
Yeah, over 300 yards passing. And look, he heard the critics. You can't ignore them. Some people were calling for Taylor Heineke, but to put together a game like he did, that game-winning drive, really impressive.
There's no question about that. One, accurate, on time with the football. That was the big difference today in this game. And I'd say the other thing about Desmond Ridder, is this is a guy that, remember, in the first two drives of the opening third quarter, there were 2 fumbles. So you were behind the 8 ball right off the bat, and he stayed poised, he stayed composed, and continued to just push the ball down the football field, making great decisions and being accurate with the football.
Yeah, he's got some playmakers around him. We saw Bijan Robinson, a couple of sensational catches and a touchdown, and Atlanta gets to 3-2, and the Texans, meanwhile, they dropped to 2-3.
I do, look, all credit to Atlanta. I do want to shout out CJ Stroud really quickly. I just thought in a pressure spot like this, still so early in his career, Desmond Ridder gets the last laugh, but a really impressive drive by CJ Stroud to take that late lead. What do you see from him in one of the first big pressure spots of his career?
I think with CJ Stroud, I mean, you're talking about a poised young football player. And you talk about being on time, anticipating throws, throwing the ball accurately, never making the same mistake twice. And then you see that last drive, put it together, they're running the football, you get the opportunity to run a little double move on the breaking route and go, and throws it perfectly for the touchdown to Schultz. I mean, that's the kind of competitiveness, that's the kind of poise you want from any quarterback. Then to think he's a rookie is just pretty amazing.
Yeah, you can say all you want about some of the conservative play calling. Bottom line is 5 games, no interceptions for CJ Stroud to start his NFL career. Pretty impressive.
2 exciting young teams and an even more exciting finish. Guys, thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it. This is what you call a narrative flipper of a game. I don't want to take a victory lap because I did pick the Texans. I got it wrong. But this game played out very similarly to what I thought. All the hype, all the narrative is on the Houston Texans. Surprising young team, surprising young quarterback. They've won 2 in a row. They've got a chance to get above 500. They're really surprising people. Nobody wants to talk about the Falcons. They already had their winning streak. They've lost 2 in a row. Desmond Ridder looks lost. Well, how long is he going to keep the starting job? Is Arthur Smith crazy for sticking with him? And then you play the game. Desmond Ridder, all credit to CJ Stroud. Desmond Ridder outplays CJ Stroud, plays the best game of his career. And the most important part about it is that he did it without the Atlanta running game fueling things. Sure, Bijan Robinson had a nice day. Falcons got to close to 100 yards on the ground. It's not that they were a non-factor, but we've been saying for weeks that the Falcons are only going to go as far as their run game goes. They average less than 3 yards a carry in this game, and Desmond Ridder still finds a way to get it done. What I thought was interesting, Falcons score a touchdown on their second possession of this game. It's 7-3 Atlanta. They proceed to punt 4 times in a row. None of their other first half drives go more than 30, 40 yards. They don't sniff a scoring opportunity until the second half. They deal with turnover issues. Oh, by the way, the Falcons were -2 in turnover differential, still found a way to win. But then getting back to the second half, after you get past the fumble issues, Desmond Ridder leads this team on a 13-play touchdown drive, a 9-yard field goal drive, a 10-yard field goal drive to get this win, and does it mostly as a passer. The Falcons only had 2 rushes of more than 10 yards in the second half of this game. Bijan Robinson's biggest play comes as a receiver. If you saw him pin that touchdown catch to his hip, I don't know what it means in the big picture, but I think everybody was ready to say Desmond Ridder couldn't do this. He looked atrocious trying to do it against Jacksonville just a week ago. The passing game really hasn't been there on a consistent basis. I'm not sure I would have pegged him to get to a 300-yard performance all season long. He does it here in week 5. Suddenly, the Falcons are 3-2. They're right there in the division race. They're right there with Tampa Bay, a game back. They've only played 1 division game to this point in the season, and they've won it. It's funny how this whole thing flips. It's funny how nobody wants to talk about the Falcons, and then Desmond Ridder has the best day of anybody on the field. I did it when I was talking to Mark and Brandon. I do want to shout out CJ Stroud. Continues to impress. He breaks Dak Prescott's rookie record for passes thrown without an interception. That's 5 weeks. That's like they said, whatever you want to say about the game plan, they are playing competitive football, being in games at the end, winning games with a rookie quarterback who looks like he's completely ready for this moment. It's not that I thought he would struggle. I definitely didn't think CJ Stroud would be this ready this early. Of all the major rookies in this draft class, CJ Stroud easily looks the best, easily looks like he's ready for the big time, and you can win a game with him even if the rest of your offense isn't clicking. But that's the fun of the NFL. Texans have plenty to feel good about, but the Falcons get the narrative bump. The Falcons are the one that's over 500, and I don't know how many people expected that to happen with the way these two teams were playing heading into it. So good on you, Atlanta.